What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm so excited to bring you guys the next video in my declutter series. Every year I tend to declutter my makeup collection at the end of the calendar year, just because I feel at that time I've had, literally a year to work with the products that I've picked up. I do not typically include any makeup that I have not already previously reviewed, and there's quite a bit of makeup waiting to be reviewed, stuff like that. But I think this year I actually may include some things just because there's so many things, and I'll just tell you guys if I've kind of gotten my thoughts or not, and then put them back in their respective category. That said, in today's video, you guys will be seeing powder bronzers, cream bronzers, powder blushes, cream blushes, powder highlighters, and cream highlighters. I really want to go ahead and get through this huge collection. This is going to be one of my longer videos outside of course, eyeshadow palettes. So I do hope that you guys, grabbed a snack, grabbed a drink, whatever you need. I don't want this to be too long of an intro. I literally don't have the capacity to link everything down below because I have that many products, and I have yet to actually film the video at the time of me filming this intro, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a surprising one, just because of where I'm mentally at right now. And I feel very content in that process, in this state of being. And I've been in this mindset truly for a couple of months now. So I think it's going to be a really interesting declutter. I think this whole declutter series is going to be very interesting. Definitely go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like a good declutter. First things first, and then we really will dive in. All of this makeup will not necessarily be thrown away unless it is actually truly old. Otherwise, I have quite a few friends in the area at work or otherwise, and then I also just will be donating. There are a couple of different donation centers that I know of that will take lightly used makeup, and then of course all of them more or less will take new makeup. So that's where all of my stuff will be going. I have a huge bin of decluttered products. I even have an old makeup mirror that I will be giving away as well. So all of that stuff will be shipped out. I really wanted it to be done before December so that the people could have access to it right before the holidays and they could kind of distribute it. I just didn't have the time. School has been crazy, but I'm gonna stop making excuses. I hope that whoever does get access to these products enjoys it. I don't donate or I do not give them away to subscribers, so I apologize for that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and dive on in because I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Okay guys, so as I said in the intro, today I'm going to be showcasing pretty much all of my cheek products, both cream and powder. I'm going to try my absolute best to separate both categories of all three sections, such as of course bronzer, blush, and highlighter. And let's just dive on in because there's quite a bit of things. I do want to just give a slight disclaimer for bronzer specifically. I do find that I have been gravitating more towards those that have a yellow based undertone to it. So those are definitely going to be the ones that I automatically keep, and some of the other kind of differences that I've just kept because I didn't have a lot of options maybe ultimately being decluttered today. So let's just dive on in. One of my favorites is right here. This is the ABH cream bronzer in the shade hazelnut. As you can see, I have quite a deep dent, so this is definitely going to be kept. I've only had this for about a year, and for me that is quite a good amount of usage for the length of time that I've kept it. Another one, there should be two. Which one is this? This is True Warmth. I think my On the Horizon is just in another bin. I have bins everywhere in this room right now just because of Vlogmas. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. Okay, so I was able to find both of my shades from Rare Beauty. I have True Warmth and the On Horizon. If you've seen any of my videos this last month or so in Swagness, you will see me using On the Horizon. And this shade actually works really, really good for me. It does have a slight yellow undertone. I do still wish that this was a deeper shade, but I've definitely gotten a significantly more amount of use on that than True Warmth, which you can see even just here how much warmer True Warmth is to On the Horizon. I have already done numerous videos showcasing the differences of the two. So if you're interested, please just go ahead and check out my channel because I do have these. But either way, I'm keeping them both. I really do like that formula. Another formula I really do like is this one. This is from Glossier, and this is the Solar Paint in Volt. It is a very good formula for when I use very lightly pigmented bases. This does have a very, very strong warm red undertone, but I still do enjoy it. And since I don't have anything to the effect of this, I am going to go ahead and keep it. Actually, I might not. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter this. I actually do really like this formula. I'm not going to lie. But once again, today, like I said a little bit earlier, the undertone is really going to play a huge role in my keeping of products. And this just has a slightly too red of an undertone, whereas this baby from Merit, it pretty much has the same kind of opacity, and this is a little bit more neutral. And right now I'd rather go for something that's more neutral / yellow than really, really obnoxiously red. So I'm actually going to keep this one and declutter this one. And I also have this baby, which is similar to the Merit, and I do prefer this formula. We'll keep this for now as well. And this is the Danessa Myricks in the shade Deep 1. I do actually prefer this one over the Merit formulation, but I'll keep them both for at least currently in this time period as of right now. Let's see. Let's get through something. This is something I can easily declutter. I used it a couple of times. It's just not a formula I really like. I also really am not very impressed with the undertone for me. This is Revolution's Ultimate Cream Bronzer in Deep. A lot of people really loved this bronzer last year. Not a huge favorite, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Another one that I'm going to get rid of, it just didn't inspire me too much, is this NARS bronzer. This is in the shade Laguna 04. This actually is dark enough for me. I do very much am happy about that. But at the end of the day, I just don't get a lot of use out of it, and I'd rather declutter it to somebody who can. Same with the Say bronzer. I actually really did like this bronzer when I was testing it out. I did a review on it and all of that. I did do a bronzer hunt specifically on this one. This one is in the shade Deep Bronze. But once again, I just don't get a lot of use out of it, so no need to keep it. Let's keep it going. Another one I can easily declutter is this one. This is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Sunkissed. I just don't like this formula in the bronzer. I really don't. I actually weirdly enough like it in the blush, but for some reason I just don't like it in the bronzer. So this is another easy declutter to hopefully somebody else that can get better use out of it. Another one, just it's not a favorite. I don't like the shade. It's pretty much my skin tone. This is the Revolution Pro Glow Goddess in the shade Dark. I got this in the trio. I'm not a huge fan of this trio, but the formula on this is really good. It's just not dark enough for me. I think in the trio, they did have one darker shade, but I would have assumed I'm dark because in most brands, I'm dark. Anyways, not something I need to keep. I will get rid of it. A friend that gets ColourPop PR. What is that? I hope that's bronzer. A friend that gets ColourPop PR sent me their two darkest shade in their cream bronzer range. So one is in Shell Beach, which is pretty much my skin tone. There's very much little depth here. And the other one is in Manhattan Beach, which is dark enough for me. But if we're looking at the undertones and everything, I would rather give this to somebody else that can get a lot more use out of it. I don't use a lot of ColourPop. It's just not a brand that I get a lot of enjoyment out of using. And right now I really want to keep things that I personally get enjoyment out of using. And then of course, like the actual product. So I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter both of these, and hopefully a lot more people can really enjoy bronzers that have our darker skin tone with this declutter. Another easy declutter is this Juvia's Place stick in the shade Zambia. I never think about this actual product, let alone I think the shade was never the best for me. So this is going to be a declutter. This is one that I am enjoying, so I am going to keep. This is the LYS in Strengthen. I did have the shade darker than this, and I realized that this was my actual shade. So I went ahead and kept this one. I do like this. The formula is great. So I am going to go ahead once again and keep. This I put in this collection just because I do tend to reach for this trio purely for the cream bronzer, which has something in it, but it also does have a powder highlight and a powder blush. All products in this is actually really good. I am going to go ahead and keep this little trio from Kaja, and this is in the shade Marshmallow 03. I do really like this for the uniqueness of this product. The undertone and stuff, not great, but I will go ahead and keep this. Like I said, I like this for the uniqueness. I really like this product. This is one that I've been getting a lot of use out of lately. I won't sit here and tell you that the undertone of either of these products are really good, but I think the combination on my skin, it just works. So I really like this. This is Give Beauty's cream or contour and bronzer duo, whatever, in Heat Wave. I really like this, and I want to say there's at least one shade deeper, which I truly am happy about. Another really good cream bronzer is this one. This is from Fenty. As you can see, I've already hit pan. I really like this formula as well. This is in the shade Chocolate. Definitely not a favorite undertone. Like if I was being particular about that, this definitely would not be on the top list, but I just like the formula. I like how it works on my skin, and as you can see, I've gotten a lot of use out of it, so I will go ahead and keep it. I am going to keep this as well. This is from Patrick Ta, and this is in the shade She's Chiseled. You get the cream bronzer and the powder bronzer. This powder bronzer does give off, in my opinion, a little bit more of a yellow based undertone, so I really do enjoy it, and I just enjoy the formula overall. As you can see, I have a nice little dent here in the top cream bronzer as well, so definitely keeping. This is the last of the couple of cream bronzers that I had from Tower 28. This is in the shade Pacific Coast. I want to feel the formula. Okay, so the formula is still good. I do like this formula, but I can't distinctly remember the last time I reached for it. It smells like crayons, and this is an older formula. I've had this for quite some years. And like I said, I don't reach for it for a lot. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just declutter and throw this away. This is similar to the finish in like the opacity to the Merit and the Danessa Myricks, except this has a little bit of like shimmer in there. On my skin tone, I don't see the shimmer, but it's just not something I need anymore. I'm very happy that I used it and I was able to review it for you guys, but it's not a favorite, so no need to keep it. So we also have this stick from Makeup by Mario. I have it in the shade Dark. I'm considering actually doing a full face of the brand because I have a significant amount of stuff. So I am going to keep this at least for right now. Not a favorite product, but it's not terrible. And I will be able to kind of give you a lot more opinions on this product when I do that full face. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you want that. This is something I'm absolutely missing the other color. So I got two in this product kind of category. This is the bronzer. I also got the contour. This is in the shade Shimmer. This is too light for me. This is pretty much my skin tone. So I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter this. And the contour that I got is dark enough and actually warmer than my skin tone. So I think that's in my to review pile. That's why it's not here. But long story short, I will be keeping that one. Then I have these, and these are the ones that I just... It feels like a doozy that I picked these up, honestly. These are the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzers. I got it in the shade 03. Yep, I got it in the shade Tan and Dark. So this is 3 and this is 4. I shouldn't have gotten 4. I should not have gotten that. It's significantly darker than my skin tone. It's unnecessary. I don't really do cream contour, let alone contouring at all. So I think I'm gonna let one friend really just be happy to have this. It's pretty much brand new, just a little bit of use there. And then I will go ahead and keep this at least for one more year. It's a great formulation. Yeah, it's just big, honestly. And with having so many products, sometimes I just prefer a smaller quantity of products. So let's count up the amount of cream. No, we'll do all the bronzers category together. Let's get into the powder bronzers. Okay, so quite a few as you can see. And actually, as I was doing that, I realized that one thing that I really wanted to do in this declutter, once again, is keep things that I have enjoyment using and I actually want to use. I don't think I'm going to keep, I don't know. Let's just keep that for now. Okay, let's dive on in. This is something, it's got to go. I bought it, then I threw it away, and then I repurchased this. I don't like it. I understand other people do, but it's just not a favorite of mine. This is the Queen Bronzer in Ebony Bronze. It's got to go. I do not like it. Another one that's got to go is this one. It's fine. I really like it. I kept a lot of bronzers years ago just because the collection and the like options just really weren't out there, but there's so many more options now. This is the I Heart Revolution Coffee Bronzer Air Mocha. I just don't need it. One that a friend actually gave me is this baby. This is actually a powder, but it's too dark for me, so I was trying to use it as a bronzer. As you can see, I really don't get a lot of use out of this. This is the Jouer Deep Powder. Like I said, I just don't get a lot of use out of it. I'm very happy that she was able to gift this to me, but it's just not something that I need, so I'm going to gift it to somebody else. A bronzer I do really like is this baby, once again from Fenty. This is the Mocha Mommy bronzer. I am going to keep it. Let's see. I'm also definitely going to keep the Pat McGrath, if I can open it. Oh my goodness, this is stupid. The Pat McGrath powder bronzer in the shade Burnished Honey. Absolutely love this bronzer. Another bronzer that I really enjoy is this Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in 04. I don't know what it is about the powder, but I definitely enjoy the powder a lot more than the actual cream, which is very, very interesting. Another Declutter Easy is pretty much the dupe of the Covergirl. This is the full spectrum. I think they discontinued this range as well. Just not something that I need. Not something that I need again from this brand. This is Jaclyn Hill's bronzer in Bare Babe. So this has just got to go. Let's see, another really old product. This is just going to be thrown away from Nabla in the shade Profile. This is also just one of those shades that I just kept because I really wanted a bronzer, and even if it didn't really do what I wanted, I just kept it because it was the best option available. I no longer need to keep this. Another one that's kind of in that same boat is this baby right here from Cover FX. This is in the shade Suntan Bronze. I just don't need to kind of force some of these bronzers to work for me because I have so many that actually do. A good one that works for me is this Juvia's Place bronzer in Dark. I really like this. Both shades. I do prefer this shade. It's a little bit more yellowy and this one's a little bit more red orange, but either way, I like them both, so I'm going to keep them. Another keep is this Kosas bronzer in the shade Deep. I really like this one. Another declutter is this Becca. I know a lot of people really loved this range. I never got the hype. I never understood it. This is a Maui Nights. It's just not for me, so it's an easy declutter. Great bronzer right here from House Labs in Deep 11. As you can see, I'm really getting a nice little dent in that top corner. I really love that bronzer. That's pretty much my go-to bronzer right now. I do really like this powder. I haven't used it a lot lately, but I do get a lot of fond memories. So right now I'm going to keep this. This is in Natasha Denona's Contour Sculpting Powder in Deep. It is kind of cool. I'm trying to think. I think for now I'm going to keep it, and we'll just see how it runs this next year when I hopefully do really good at this kind of, you know, minimal kind of no buy, low buy situation. This is a trio I really enjoy. This is from Alamar Cosmetics. This should be in the shade Deep, I want to say. Really like this. I'm keeping this. This is an old favorite. This is the second pan that I had in this one, and this is in the shade Bits and Pieces. I'm going to keep this for nostalgia purposes, and just I enjoy that product still, although I will say it is extremely red. Maybe I don't need it. It is extremely red. I think I'm doing to declutter this. Yeah, I just really don't get use out of bronzers this red toned anymore. Yeah, I'm going to declutter it. Yeah, that's good. That is good. One that I will definitely be keeping is this MAC. Well, do I want this? I like it. I hate how matte it is though, but I'll keep it for now. I really like the undertone. This is the MAC Richer Golden shade. I really, like I said, I like the undertone, and using it on top of a cream bronzer, I can really get the kind of effect that I personally like on my skin tone. I think it's time for this one to go. This is the Caladios Contour Set. I prefer to bronze, and the other two products, specifically this, I don't contour. That has the biggest amount of product, and yeah, I just, you know, I think it's time to let that one go. Another one, I think it's time. This is the Morphe Bronzer and Leader. Really great quality, really great formula. I actually really did like the tone of this as well. I don't feel like I'm gonna get any use out of it, so no need for me to hoard it in this collection. Zoeva, oh my goodness, this is really bringing back some memories. This is in the shade Lumi 06, another bronzer that when I just really wanted a new bronzer to try out, this was kind of one of the only options. It's not great, it was good, but it's not great compared to some of the newer formulas that I have, colors and all of that, so that's gotta go. Minted, this is Minted Yacht Life. I feel like I kept this and I really didn't get a lot of good, I don't know, let me put that to the side. Let me see what's left and see what I'm gonna actually keep. Okay, this can easily go. This is actually a highlighter that in the midst of a no buy, I told myself I was gonna use as a bronzer, and I kind of stuck to it. This can go. This is from e.l.f. It can go. This is a really solid bronzer. I really like this one. This is from Sigma in the shade Deep. I'm gonna keep that. Jouer. This is an actual bronzer duo. I remember getting somewhat decent results, but not loving the results. So I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of this too. This is Deep to Dark. Let's just say goodbye. This is a really red undertoned bronzer. This is in the shade Sculpting Bronze from Revolution Pro. I really like the formulation though. It came off a little bit more like skin-like. Like I said, it's red, but it's not too bad. I think I'm gonna keep this one. Alrighty, so this is my only NARS bronzer. It works. I don't know. I feel like it's cute. I like it. It was kind of the fact that I could find a NARS bronzer for me, and that's why I kind of picked it up. I'll keep it for now. It's not like something that like I don't have the room for. If you see how many I'm getting rid of, I definitely have the room. This is definitely a contour for me. This is completely too dark for me. This is in the shade Tropic, I want to say. I think I'm going to give this to a friend that's darker than me. They can get some really good use out of it. Hopefully, if they like the type of finishes that that product is. I really do like the product though. Let's look at all of the like tones of these products, because these are all products left that like I like them, but I'm not like living and dying for them, you know. Make sure that one's in view. And then we got the Gucci. So out of all of these, if we're talking about finish and color, I think these are the only two that I really remember getting enjoyment from, which is Prime Beauty's Bronzeville bronzer, and I think the name is Brownsville, and then the Gucci bronzer in 05. So those are the last two that I'm going to keep. Every other one, I think I'm just going to go ahead and declutter. I just don't need it. Okay, so this was definitely rapid fire for the bronzers, but let's count how many I decluttered. Okay, I don't think you can see them all, but I am decluttering 31 bronzers, both cream and powder, and I feel comfortable with this. There are definitely some that I think could be like in their last rotation of being in my collection, but I'm very comfortable right now with the amount of bronzers that I have on this table that I am giving away. I'm going to pull up my blushes because that is going to be a collection that really needs to be cleaned out. All right, so time to do cream blushes. A lot of them actually aren't even in frame. It's just one of those things. So let's just dive on in, shall we? One that I definitely know I'm going to be keeping is this Facula DO5. It's really, it doesn't look like much, but I really like the formula. It's like a moussey cream to powder. I really like this. Same with this item. I know that it's no longer available, but I really enjoy it. So for right now, I am going to keep it. All of my Half Magic, every last one, oops, I'm getting too close. Zoom out there. Every last one is definitely going to be staying. I love them all. Let's see about a declutter. Okay, this is an easy declutter, and actually we'll go ahead and declutter this as well. This is Milk Makeup in Quick. I don't really like the formula. There's nothing wrong with it, but this type of product, a cream blush, I typically prefer in a compact, not in a stick like this. The Rim Beauty, once again, nothing wrong with it. I just prefer a different type of packaging, and this is in the shade Curtain Call. Let's see. So this is 3 of the color fixes from Danessa Myricks that I like to use for cream blush. I like these all. I don't use these as often, but I still get enjoyment out of keeping these, so I will. This is the same formula as the cream bronzer that I decluttered. This is the Putty Blush in Caribbean, but I really like this, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. These types of products, which I think I have maybe one more, but maybe it's in the highlighter, they just aren't for me. I've tried. I think I'm just gonna let them go. So this is in Dream Pop, and this is Revolutions in Golden. This is of course from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm just going to declutter it. A friend can get a really good present. Some more things. I think I've gotten my kind of work out of them. These were sent to me via PR from the brand Merit. I'm just going to go ahead and declutter these. And if you're wondering the shades, it's Fox, Persimmon, and Cheeky. I do have a short on these in case you are interested. Okay, 2 I'm definitely keeping are these Danessa Myricks cream blushes in Jubilee and Golden Hour. These are the Yummy Skin range. I really love. Another formula that I really enjoy is this MAC one in Heat Index. It's not as pigmented as all the other products that I've kept in the range, but I do enjoy it nonetheless. This is one that I just don't get any enjoyment out of. I really don't find any color payoff for the kind of glowy nature of this. This is from Rose Inc. This is in the shade Foxglove. It's getting decluttered. A definite favorite is this Huda Beauty Love Fest in the shade Burning Cherry. Absolutely love this shade. Definitely keeping. Another definite keep is this One Size in the shade Firestarter. Absolutely love this one. Really good formula here from By Mario. I think this is a lot more pigmented than people expected. This is in the shade Rose Crush. I really do like this formula. Really great. Another formula from Makeup by Mario is this stick in the shade Soft Coral. I will say I prefer the pan that I previously just showed you guys, but once again, I want to do a full face of Makeup by Mario, so I will be keeping this. I really do like this palette as well. This is the Natasha Denona Bloom, so I'm keeping that. And let's see. I have 3 shades from Patrick Ta that I've kept, and I believe all of these are the good formulas that actually work for me. Let me just triple check. So She's a Doll definitely works. I know She's Wanted works for me. And I think this is the neutral one. Yeah, this is the neutral one, and She's Baked. So I like all of those. I'm keeping all of those. Another Rose Inc. Once again, it's just gotta go. This is in the shade Delphine. not for me. This is another one that's just not for me. I just don't think that the payoff is worth it on my skin tone. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Natural Rose. So this is going to be a declutter, and that's a real declutter. I've decluttered that twice and it found its way back here, or once it found its way back here. So that's going to be a for real declutter. This is one that at the beginning when I had it, I really enjoyed it, and I haven't gotten a lot of use out of it since. This is ABH's Peach Caramel. I'm gonna keep this because I had really good memories of getting good enjoyment out of this. I didn't like this. This is the Nude Stick Hot Fire. I really like the shade, but I find that the formula and the payoff just really don't work for my technique and how I use cream blush. So that's going to be another declutter. This is an easy declutter from Maybelline. This is the Cheek Heat in the style 25 Fusion Spark. Let's see. Rare Beauty. Ooh, I think I'm going to keep both of these. These aren't a favorite formula anymore. Like I said, I do definitely prefer more of a compact cream blush, but these are good formulas. So I'm going to go ahead and keep them. Let's see. These are all compacts. Ow, that hurt actually. And they all work in theory. They look a little busted, some of them, more than others. Let me just check to make sure that these Tower 28, they still work. They do still work. I'm going to keep all of them. I'm going to keep them all. I like them all. No need. Actually, the Colored Rain, I didn't get a lot of use out of. I'm going to get rid of this one. Yeah. The other four I will keep. Okay. So I knew this was going to be a harder one. Let's get into the powder blushes. Okay, so this is actually a cream highlighter palette, so I'm gonna just toss this into the next pile because I will be doing those in just a second. All right, so many things to talk about. Let's get to talking about what to keep. Glam Light, their Scooby-Doo duo. I really love this duo. This is what made me start reaching for these kind of bright pinks, so I will be keeping it. Another duo I really like, I haven't gotten a lot of use out of it lately, but it's a great duo. This is the Colored Rain Call the Shots Power Collaboration. I'm definitely keeping that. Wayne Goss, I have a couple of products from him, and this one, oh, I didn't, there are definitely some products I just realized I didn't showcase in this video. I'm sorry. I definitely didn't showcase, I don't think, my Wayne Goss bronzer duo. I do love that. Anyways, this is the one in Bright Poppy. As you guys know, I also got another one very recently. I really like this formula. Definitely keeping. Let's see. So my MAC formulas, I think I have 3 or 4 formulas from them, or maybe I only have 2 now. Okay, I only see 2. These are both definite keeps. This is the one, this is the Extra Dimension in Rosy Cheeks, and this is the, I guess, mineralized finish in Flirting with Danger. I really like both of these. Definite keeps. I think what I'm ready to get rid of is this ColourPop Hint of, what is it? Drop of a Hat. It's a really nice shade, but I think I can go ahead and get rid of it now. A couple more that I'm ready to get rid of is this one from LA Girl. This is Just Blushing. What is this in? Just Fearless. It's a really good formula, great quality. I just don't get any enjoyment out of using it. Let's see. Another one I can get rid of is this e.l.f. one. This is another formula that I actually used to really enjoy. I just don't need it. It's an Always Fiery. Same with this one from Nabla. This is in the shade Adult Only. Really good formula. I actually preferred this formula in the blush than the bronzer. I just don't need it anymore. It's gotta go. One that I just did not get any real enjoyment out of. I feel like the pigmentation level was just not there for somebody of my skin tone. This is the RMS blush in Sangria, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that. Another one I just didn't really enjoy is this Benefits Butterfly. I just got way too much of that golden shimmer and not enough of the orange tone, so this has gotta go. Let's see. Two from Unearthly Cosmetics. I actually really did like this formula quite a bit actually. Although it looks matte, I felt like there was just enough kind of life to this formula that is something that I will get use out of. So I will go ahead and keep this. Where is this from? I think this is a Juvia's Place blush. Ooh, I like that tone. I'm gonna keep this. This is in Bella. I have quite a bit of House Labs blushes, maybe. I thought I had more than I do. It looks like I only have two, but I really like both tones and both shades, so I'm keeping them both. Definitely keeping this Chantecaille blush. This is in the shade Laughter. The packaging is not looking too hot, but I actually really like this blush and it works for me, so I'm gonna keep it. A really unique blush that I love to reach for is this one from Give Me Glow, and it is this beautiful kind of mustardy tone. This is in the shade Hey Honey. Absolutely love it, keeping it. This brand actually came back recently, but I think it's time for me to finally let this go. This is the Certified Blush in 02. Natasha Denona Duo Glow in the shade Alba. I remember trying this and thinking it was okay, but I think it's a little too lightly pigmented on the color and too shimmery for me. So I think I'm gonna give it to somebody with hopefully a lighter skin tone to enjoy that. This Sigma blush in the shade Bronze Star is actually a really nice blush. It is quite shimmery, but I like it for my skin tone, so I will keep it. All of my Pat McGrath blushes I'm keeping. I do have quite a few. I have some single compacts, and then I have this palette. I also have, I think, another one somewhere. I don't really know, but these are the kind of three that I have right here. I love her formula, so I'm definitely keeping all of these. Another formula I actually really enjoy is this Alamar one, and this is in, I think, their deep range. Really like this one, definitely keeping. Okay, let's see. NARS, I've definitely whittled this formula and this brand down to just kind of what you would consider the essentials. And although I can't distinctly remember the last time I used these are very, very good formulas, and I kind of still want to keep them. So I think I'm going to. Caladios. Ooh, this is, there's no shade on this. This is too light for me. This is gonna go. Give, I really like this formula. I really like this shade duo as well. This is Honeymoon Phase, definitely keeping. My two Odin's Eye, this one is in Orange Sunny. It's the matte version, and this one is in Peach Gleam. It has a little bit of a shimmer in it. I actually like both of these blushes. I think they both work decently well, so I will be keeping these. Let me look at my Becca blushes. So this one is in Snapdragon, and this one is in Songbird. I think it's time to let these go. I think it is, so it's gonna go. All right, let's get into the last couple. Let me take off these drug pouches, as Teresa is Dead calls them. So let's look at my two Laura Geller blushes. These are ones that I used to get so much enjoyment out of. They do have a Beige Gelée formula, and so this gives a very like skin-like finish. But I think it's time. I think it's time for these both to go. I really like them, but like I said, I think it's time. They're definitely no longer available. And in some cases where I'm not using them, I don't know, I just feel like that one is just time to go. I do have two Charlotte Tilbury boob blushes, as they call them. and they both work on me. This one is Walk of No Shame, or Walk of No Shame, and this one is Love Drug, I think. Love is the Drug. These are really pretty. I like them both. I'll keep them. This one, you really have to make sure to get the middle for it to show up on my skin tone. This one, not so much. So I like them both. Okay, and then the last two are some designer. So I have a Dior one, and then I have a Kevin Aquan one. I think these are both good to go. I don't feel anything from these. So these are both being decluttered. Okay, so now it's time to count out how many blushes I'm decluttering. Okay, so I am decluttering 28 blushes. Of course, like I did last time on the screen, I will have the total amount of blushes and products that I have decluttered, both my bronzers and my blushes. But after that, I'm gonna clear off my desk one last time and let's get into the highlighters. All right, so the last collection that I plan to do right now, at least, is the cream and powder highlighters. So let's get those out. All right, so as you can see, this is definitely my least amount of cream products in general. I will say really quickly, I did notice that this Tarte Shape Tape was in here. This is their contour in the shade Deep. It is not very deep at all, but what I will say is a very easy kind of everyday bronze. So I will actually keep this. I don't have much product left, so I might as well go ahead and finish it. Okay, let's get into the actual highlighters. So keeping on with like products in the squeezy tube type packaging, I hate, and I do mean hate, the Revolution Pro Goddess Cream in a Light. This was the one that was in the Deep trio. Absolutely hate this. Definitely decluttering. I have two Charlotte Tilbury wands here. So one is in the shade Pillow Talk, the other one is in a Glowgasm. So the Glowgasm is in Peachgasm, the Pillow Talk is in Medium 2. I think these are fine. I just genuinely don't get the hype with these. It's just not a personal preference of mine. I just genuinely don't like them. So if you were wondering like which one I prefer the Pillow Talk Medium. That's my preference, but of the two, I just don't like them. So these are both going as well. Another one going is this Tarte Maracuja Juicy Glow Stick thing in the shade Amber Glow. I absolutely hate this product. I find that there's absolutely no glow, at least not this shade on my skin tone. I also don't like the packaging and delivery system. Just got to go. Let's see. Golden Hour, this is the cream. I think this is okay, but for the effort that it takes, honestly, it's just not a favorite of mine. I know I'm not going to reach for it. This is from Melt Cosmetics, if I did not say. That's being decluttered as well. This is one that just has to be thrown away. I've had this for so long. This is from Danessa Myricks, and this is her Dew Wet in the shade Hot Water. I really do actually like this product. I just don't get enough use out of it. And like I said, it is quite old, so it's time for it to go. Two products that I actually do like this formula. I just prefer one shade over another. So I'm going to keep the shade I prefer, which is Citrine. This is a beautiful kind of orangey gold shade. And the other shade is Bounce, which is a little bit icier with more of a pink kind of coloring. So the Bounce is going to be decluttered. The Citrine I'm keeping. Then we got these two formulas. I think that they're okay. If we're being honest, I'd reach for my Merit first, but I do want to kind of keep just a little bit of variety. So I will go ahead and keep these two formulas. This one is from Unearthly in the shade Gilded, and then I have Juvia's Places Golden Hour. These are two other formulas. This one I actually really do like. This one is from, I want to say Half Magic by the Image, and this is their Glitter Puck in Dopamine Sparkle. It's a really interesting formula. I actually should have considered this in my innovative formula video, but this looks like a solid, but it really is just like suspended glitter in like a gel that you can actually feel the gel on your skin. I really like this formula. Definitely keeping this. And then as for this About Face, You know, I think this is fine, but I think somebody else may get more use out of it. So I'll keep it. I'll keep it for now. Like I said, I don't have many cream highlighters. It's not like it's going to be a terrible thing to keep this. And then lastly is from, oh goodness, I'm forgetting the brand, Adept Cosmetics. And this is their Ketrel White palette. So they have 2 cream highlighters here and 2 powder highlighters. I really don't like this powder highlighter formula, but I actually do kind of like this formula. But to me, having the whole packaging is just not worth it, unfortunately. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and declutter this. Wow, I did not expect that. Okay, so that was a lot. Let's pull out my powder highlighters and we'll see what I keep and what I declutter. So I don't know if you guys can see. Let me move these over to the side. But I have quite a lot, oops, I have quite a lot more powder highlighters than creams. So this may be a tinge bit longer, but hopefully this works out for me. Okay, so let's get a little dust off of that one. That one's not cute. Okay, this is from Makeup Monsters. They are now Menagerie Cosmetics. This is a very old highlighter. It's really nice. I do like the highlighter, but it's extremely old. Time for it to be thrown away. Another one that I think I'm just going to get rid of, same with the blushes, is this Laura Geller Peach Glow. Really pretty highlighter. I do really like it. Very nice color. It's just old. Time for it to go. I really love my Lunar Beauty Jupiter. I do reach for it on time to time. It's fantastic. It is a bronzy, darker highlighter for me. I typically don't go for highlighters this dark, but the like shimmer in it really makes it work for me. So definite keep. Another declutter easy is this Kylie highlighter in Chocolate Cherry. It actually is a really nice shade, really nice formula. I just don't need it. So time for it to go. Let's see. Another one that's easy kind of declutter is this Jaclyn. I really like the color, but it's bulky. I don't use it a lot. It's Va Boom. And also the like sheen on that isn't all that great. So no need to keep it. Definitely keeping my Rare Beauty. I've definitely kind of gotten rid of quite a bit of the dome on this one. Really, really nice. Flaunt is the shade there. I think it might be time for Becca to just go. I just don't, yeah, this has got to go. This is in Chocolate Geode. It's time for that to say goodbye. This is another old one. This is my Smashbox Vlada highlighter in the shade Petal Metal. A lot of people hated this highlighter. I actually really liked it, but once again, it's quite old and I don't really use it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I really like this one. This is from Cleona Cosmetics and I can't remember the YouTuber at all, but it is this fruit kind of themed packaging from the brand and her. Oh, Emily Violet Marie. This is in the shade Tropico. I wanted to go back and get the other highlighter, but I honestly haven't made a Cleona highlighter or Cleona order in, I want to say, almost a year. This was the last order I made from them. This is a multi-chrome highlighter. I really like this one. I will definitely be keeping. As you can see, I'm trying to avoid certain things, so we're just going to continue to avoid them, shall we? This is one that I think is nice. I just don't need anymore. This is the Pixie Subtle Sunrise. It's just, it's time. It's one of those things. A lot of these, I feel like it's just time. This is the Fenty How Many Carats. I do prefer this over the other one. That's why this one's still in my collection and the more bronzy one got decluttered. But I was using this at a time. I haven't used this in years, so time for it to go. Another one that is time for it to go is this Touch of Glam Beauty Hocus Pocus highlighter. It's beautiful. I loved it for the nostalgia and just the concept of it being Hocus Pocus, but I just don't need it. It's gotta go. Let's look at this. This is another Adept Cosmetics highlighter. This is one This is a highlighter palette I absolutely love. So this is definitely staying in my collection. Absolutely love all of these shades. They all work for me. Some people use these as blushes, but I think these all look beautiful on me as highlighters. Another kind of smaller highlighter palette is this one from Dior. At one point, this was in a declutter, or not a declutter, a project pan. That's why you see so much use in this pan, but I love this palette. This is in the shade Copper Gold Keeping. This is a favorite, a classic from MAC. This one is in Sun Flushed. This is their extra diminished finish. I love this one. This is going nowhere. I have quite a bit of Pat McGrath highlighters. Let me see if I can get them all. This is not all of them. I clearly don't have all of my products here, which is fine, but this is, oh, there's some more. Here's some more. Okay. So the ones that are opened are all my Pat McGrath. Let me move this so that this shows. Okay, there we go. So I am actually going to be keeping 3 out of 4. I did not need to get this one. This one was just kind of, I couldn't help myself. This is in Gold Extreme 02. I don't need that personally, but the other 3 I am definitely keeping. So this one is in the shade Bronze Mirage. That's in their normal range. Then I have 2 limited editions, and this one is Venetian Nude. And this one should be Incandescent Gold 02, and this was another Bridgerton collaboration. Okay, so I found the other Becca. I knew I had another one. This is a really pretty like orangey highlighter. It's cute. I think I used it very recently, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it too. I don't need it. It's cute, but I just don't use it regularly. One that I definitely am keeping is this Fantasia One Size. I get so much use out of this. This is just a beautiful highlighter. I really wish they brought this type of formula back with just more shades, but as of right now, they have not. My House Labs, I really enjoy this as well. This is in the shade Fire Opal. Beautiful formula here, so definitely keeping. My Colored Rain, I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I just don't need this anymore. This is in the shade Your Treat, and yeah, it's got to go. All right. Let's keep moving. This is a highlighter from Melt in Genesis. To be honest, I don't actually remember this highlighter, which should tell me to kind of get rid of it because I clearly have no use for it. But for right now, I'm going to keep it, get potentially, hopefully some use out of it this upcoming year, and get my opinions more solidified on that formula. Ofra, I have the Beam the Haters highlighter. I vaguely remember this as being the one highlighter that I felt like worked for my skin tone, but I just don't feel anything. I don't need this. This has got to go. Morphe, this is going as well. This is in the shade Boom. It's a really nice highlighter. I just don't need it. My two Odin's Eye highlighters, I actually do like these. This one is in Warm Sunshine. It's more of like a yellowy tone, and this one is in Rose Sky. These are very unique tones, and I really like them, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and keep these. This is absolutely being decluttered. This I don't actually understand the purpose of. It doesn't feel like a cream. It doesn't apply as a cream. I don't understand this. Fashion Fair was just not the brand for me, unfortunately, this year. Yeah, it just didn't work out for me. It did not work out for me. Sigma. So this is another highlighter that I picked up this year. This is in the shade Golden Hour. I really love this highlighter. Definitely keeping. About Face, I want to say that this was an okay highlighter, but for some reason I want to kind of keep it. So I'm not going to deny that part of me. We'll see if I get some use out of it this upcoming year. This is the Natasha Denona Super Glow. I did not like this shade at all. 03 Bronze. I really don't like this shade on me, so this is going to be decluttered. Oh, I've been avoiding some of these, and we're just going to keep avoiding them. We are. This is a Givenchy highlighter. This is beautiful. I don't even know why I thought I had the money to buy this. Clearly I did, but like I shouldn't have. Anyways, this is in the shade Shimmery Gold. This was a holiday release one year. Absolutely love this. Definitely keeping this. This is a JD Glow highlighter in Chaos. This was a like duochrome before duochrome highlighters were really a thing. As you can see, I got a lot of use out of it. I haven't used this in years though, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. That is probably going to be in the trash though. It's not going to actually be decluttered to anybody. This is a beautiful highlighter. I want some more in this range. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up. This is the iconic London Kissed by the Sun in So Cheeky. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful bronze. I really like that shade. Oh goodness, we're getting down to the ones I keep avoiding. We have this Half Magic one. This is really pretty as well. So I am going to go ahead and keep this. The Rim Beauty one, I remember liking it. Is a very smooth formula, nothing groundbreaking, but I like the redness to this. This is once again another unique shade, so I'm gonna keep. Okay, it's time to kind of get through some of these that I've been avoiding. Let me make sure they're all in the view of the viewfinder. I think you guys get the gist. Let me take off the drug pouches for these two. Okay, so I have 3 highlighters from Caladios. I have Mars Melter, Laser Glazer, and Ray Rider. These two I really like. They both work for my skin tone. They're very unique tones, which is definitely a positive for keeping them. Maybe I'll do it this way. Whereas Ray Rider, I wanted something in this range that was more of a kind of go-to neutral. This is just too icy for my skin tone. So this is going to be said goodbye to, which is unfortunate. It's not cheap. None of this stuff is cheap, obviously. Anyways, keeping these two. Okay, my Dior highlighters. These are just ridiculously beautiful. This is in the shade 07, and this one is in the shade 04. These are both beautiful highlighters. If you get a chance, just swatch a Dior highlighter. They're great. Okay, and these are some that I've been really like kind of avoiding, if we're being honest. So I have 2 loose highlighters. One from the Jackie Aina Artist Couture collaboration in Le Bronze. And then I have the Sydney Grace Bronze Radiance. I have had these for years. We're going on at least 3 years now, if not more. I have not used either of these once. So these have just got to go. It doesn't make sense for me to keep them. It's just got to go. And then these 2 are collaborations with Dose of Colors. Neither of them are still available, but there's just something about this formula that I do enjoy. I will say the Desi and Katie worked better on my skin tone than the I Love Sarahi. It's Sarah, but I can never say it in the unique way that she has it spelled. The formula is still good though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna declutter this one because it just overall I made it work, but it wasn't the best. This was the one that was the best, so we're gonna keep that. Okay, let's count how many I've decluttered. Okay, so I have decluttered 29 highlighters, both cream and powder per usual. On the screen, I will of course have all the total right now of all of the products that I have decluttered thus far. My little bag that I've been holding all this stuff is definitely getting full, and I think I have enough time and enough energy to me that I'm gonna pull all of my face palettes really quickly just to do all of my cheek products in this one video. So give me just one more second. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm sorry if my lighting has been a little off. I just looked up and realized how off it was, but hopefully my lighting is back to my normal and I was able to fix it throughout the editing. I'm going to try my best to group all of this stuff by brand because I do have quite a few kind of brands that are just replicating. So this is an Hourglass face palette. This is the Ambient Lighting Volume 3 up top. Then we have the Tiger palette, which was last holiday. And then we have the Jellyfish, which is this holiday. If we're looking at all three of these palettes, the one that I enjoyed the most is the Lighting Volume. I can get use out of all three of these shades, so I'm definitely keeping this one. I feel like I've kind of come to the conclusion that these palettes, for me, they just don't do the best. I know some people it works for them, but I think that this is just going to be my hurrah. I tried 2 years in a row. This is just going to be a declutter, and I'm just not going to touch these again. I'm just not. Another one that I previously decluttered, I think, and then I brought back into my collection. And this is the Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio. I just need to let this go. So this is just, it's gotta go. One that I honestly don't mind, although for me, if I'm going to reach for a cheek palette, it needs to be one that I'm going to get a lot of enjoyment out of. And for me, I can get this from other products that I have in single form. I don't need this particular palette. So I think I might, let me hold on to this for now. I'm gonna put this on the side for a maybe. This is gonna be a maybe. This is one I should have never picked up. This is the this is Lunatics Cosmetics Volume 2 Contour Book. I should have never picked this up. So this is going to be a declutter, and it's going to stay a declutter. I think I once again pulled that out of my declutter bin for dumb reasons. These are 3 shades from a Fenty Beauty highlighter palette that they had for holiday quite a few years ago. I depotted them thinking I was going to get more use out of them. I have not. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter these. And honestly, this packaging, I just don't need it. I don't need it. So this is all going to go. I have a couple of glow kits from ABH still. So this is the one in Sun Dipped, which is really pretty actually. Beautiful shades. Great variety. I just don't need it. So this has got to go. My ABH Dream Glow Kit, though, I actually really do enjoy this highlighter palette, specifically because it has more like shimmery, glittery highlighters. And I just felt like once you buffed them onto the skin, they looked beautiful. And although these look like they're really weird, these are dual chrome, so they do kind of really work for my skin tone. And they have a kind of see-through-ish base. I think I'm going to keep this one. I have 2 Juvia's Place palettes. One is the Saharan Blush Volume 1 palette. The other one is the Queen palette with Fumi and Juvia's Place. And what I will say is I like both of these palettes. I more than like both of these palettes. I've gotten so much use out of both of these palettes. But once again, if I'm going to reach into a blush palette, it has to give me something more than I get in my singles. And I think I have all of these in my singles. So it's crazy, but I think I'm going to say goodbye to these as well. I'm going to say goodbye. This is from Love Luxe Beauty, and this is a highlighter palette. It has clearly seen better days, and it's clearly been a while since I opened up the packaging. But I've been keeping this mainly for this Supernova shade and this Heliocentric shade. That doesn't make any sense. So this has got to go. It's got to go. It's a beautiful palette, beautiful formula. I just don't need it. I do not need it. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics Low Light Palette. And in my review of this particular palette, I said that the formula is outstanding, and I really do stand by that, but I still stand by the fact that this is just too much highlighter for one person. If you get this palette, you pretty much don't need any other highlighter in your collection. I think this is going to be another maybe. I just don't know how I feel about potentially keeping this. This is a newer palette to my collection, so maybe I'll give it some time to really get some use in my collection. Otherwise, I have a lot of these kind of single panned products. And at one point, if we're being honest, I was getting so much use out of these products. I just don't anymore. I really don't. These are all more or less limited edition products from a variety of different brands. And I think it's crazy, but I think I'm going to declutter all of these. I just don't get any use out of these anymore. I'm not reaching for these. And, you know, no reason for me to keep these in my collection. This is another kind of collection of products that I have depotted for one reason or another. These are from Beauty Bakery. This is the Benefit Hula Toasted. I think this is a face powder. This is from a KVD holiday palette. This is a Lethal Cosmetics blush. I want to say this is a Sydney Grace blush. I like all of these. I just don't know, once again, if I need them. I may keep this. I don't know. This is so difficult sometimes. And then I also have this palette, once again, with a bunch of stuff that I've depotted or actually bought that were single panned, like purposely. I just don't reach for these. I really don't. This brand is really good. Vanessa's Vanity. They have fantastic singles. You guys can't see. It's this brand right here. Their formula is really good on single eyeshadow and single highlighters. I think somebody asked me at one point where I got my singles collection. Somebody asked me where I got the heart shaped eyeshadows from. I want to say it was Vanessa's Vanity. So if I didn't tell you, if I said I didn't know, I think now it was with that brand. So hopefully you're watching this video as well. I definitely am going to go ahead and declutter all of these. I really have no attachments to any of those. Not a single one. And then for this, I really don't have any attachments to these anymore either. This Lethal Cosmetics, although it's interesting, it's kind of basic, and I kind of already have this in other products, but I do have some smaller. I have a smaller palette that I kept after my singles declutter, so maybe I'll just throw her in there. I think she's the only one out of this whole palette that I really want to keep. I think I'm just going to say goodbye to all of these as well. The Hula Toasted is actually a really good formula as well. I don't need it. I don't need all of this excess. I really, really don't. And just because I did so well on my declutters, I think I'm going to just keep these. Wow, I'm doing great with keeping things in frame. Because I'm doing so well on my declutter right now, I think I'm going to keep these two just for one more year. We'll see how I do on using them, getting enjoyment out of them. And, you know, if I don't, I can always declutter them next year. And they will still be relatively new for somebody else to get some enjoyment. So that was actually a really good use of some, 10 additional minutes or so. Let's count out how many more products or palettes, if you will, that I have decluttered. So I have decluttered 12 additional face palettes. And I don't feel any worry about these. I feel very content with my rationale for all of this stuff. I've kept a very small selection of face palettes, and that's really, I think, where I'm gonna stay. Although I like them, I prefer smaller ones that can just be put into my normal storage, and they don't have to be in a separate storage, which I am gonna be changing up my storage at the end of this color series. I can't wait to see that kind of switch around, and hopefully I can kind of vlog it for you guys, especially if I can get that done this month. Maybe I'll vlog it towards the end of December. But with that said, on the screen right now is my complete total amount of products that I have decluttered in today's video. please do not look at this as kind of me being, you know, boastful on kind of honestly wasting this product for a length amount of time. Some of these products I will be literally throwing away because they are that old. Other ones I will be giving away to shelters and to friends. So yeah, I'm trying to do better in the future, and that's all you can ask. You can only ask to do better in the future, learn from your mistakes, and yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this declutter, and with that said, I will see you guys in my next video, which will be tomorrow. Bye guys.